What Rough Beast by Bryn Hammond is the first release of the Brackenbury Books' New Edge Sword and Sorcery novellas, which funded on BackerKit last year. It's also Hammond's second novella-length tale of Goatskin Duzmut, an adventuring goat herder roving between the Keelan Mountains and the Quidam Marshes in Tangut, present-day northwestern China. This tale is unlike any sword and sorcery I've read thus far. I don't claim to be an expert on the genre, but I have made my way through much of the essential classics and dived into different flavors of modern writers. What Rough Beast certainly bears the obligatory hallmarks of SNS that I, and many others, have come to love and expect, yet Hammond's authorial voice is entirely unique. Nor can I fully define Hammond's prose. It's terse, vivid, and wild, heavy on physical verbs and unconventional adjectives, rich with sensory imagery, which gives it an artistic literary quality. Winters in her layer of hide, clammy and pongy she tossed. Vultures had stomach for worse, and vigorously scraped grot out of her skin with fragrant summer grass. Rather than painting a picture on canvas, this story paints the reader's body with dyes derived from both pungent and aromatic substances. It throws you in the shit, just as it throws you in the ambrosia. Hammond's prose won me over quickly, but I did sometimes find it difficult to comprehend, especially within the first couple of chapters. There's an adjustment period while you get to know Duz. Readers who have read the first Goatskin novella, Waste Flowers, will likely not feel this way. I certainly want to turn back and experience it after reading What Rough Beast. But once you've gotten accustomed to the writing, it flows and flows. Hi everyone, I'm James, an author, editor, and the owner of The Arcanist, and I was lucky enough to take an early look at What Rough Beast published by Brackenbury Books. I believe this book is going to be available sometime here in June. The exact details will be down in the description below, and you can find a link to pre-order or order it if it sounds interesting to you. While I was an advanced reader and my copy was provided for free, this in no way influences my opinion. I genuinely really enjoyed this book, and I'm excited to talk. Avoiding spoilers, this tale follows Duz while she's on the way elsewhere. She's waylaid by strange werebeasts that accost her throughout most of the tale, sets off to discover the fate of a lost shaman, and goes off to some larger business from there. From a plot standpoint, my only gripe is that the finale did not fully utilize elements that were set up and explored heavily throughout the beginning and middle sections. The ending sequence read more like a continuation of a previous tale, presumably Waste Flowers. I'll find out soon enough. Beyond that, the story is gripping and grounded in history. Hammond's roots as a writer of historical fiction is on full display and very welcome to my personal taste for fantasy. While some might argue that in-depth descriptions of historical doings hurts the pacing of a sword and sorcery tale, but Hammond maintained a delicate balance throughout and kept the pages flowing. The pacing is excellent. I am a notoriously slow reader and, as a cynical editor, prone to losing interest. I finished the book in about 2 nights of focused reading. That is always a huge mark up in my book. I was locked in. What Rough Beast seems to ask the reader to consider a couple of questions. What is evil? And is it what has been prescribed by society? And what beasts do we wrangle with, inside and out? What Rough Beast challenges the reader to consider evil and how it's enacted and presented in people, both good and bad, clean and unclean, sacred and unholy. Pollution. It was his weakness to be disguised by her goat's head, to be afraid of shards and fragments, to think them filthy, to believe that they polluted him. Nothing is unclean. The sentence popped into Duz's head from her time among the Mongols, an edict of Genghis Khan's, the simplest 3 words that had solved a lot of inability to live together. This, I feel, is the primary thesis of the whole tale. Historical law reads, he forbade them to say of anything that it was unclean, and insisted that all things were clean, and made no distinction between the clean and unclean. The story is muddy and bloody, but also intimate and kind. Duz saves a girl from arrest by cutting down 3 aggressive settlers. A bandit leader slaughters young noblewomen on a parapet to send a message, so her followers need not dirty their own hands. Duz fights off attacking werebeasts, yet attempts to spare their lives, because life is not to be wasted. This goes beyond moral relativism. The actions depicted throughout the story highlight the paradox between clean and unclean. We all have some grime and muck clinging to our coats, our boots, our souls. Just as we're all capable of evil, we are all also capable of good. Duz's interactions with supporting characters highlight different perspectives on this thesis. Aigana exhibits both divergent behaviors and traditional values, while also showing how these things are more intertwined than typical classifications might lead one to believe. Let's return to the question of the beasts we hold inside us. How do these beasts inform our actions? Do we feed the beast or deny it? Why? What Rough Beast does not offer answers to these questions, though it challenges the reader to weigh possible solutions on their own. This is what good fiction should do: encourage the reader to think critically and to ponder an issue, even if they don't agree. Especially if they don't agree. Frankly, I love the setting. I'm always excited by fantasy stories adapting non-European settings. I'm also a huge fan of authors who know their history. Hammond is clearly an expert on the culture of Tangut and this time period. On another level, the setting is underexamined and not part of the traditional collective medievalism of the Western world, so it reads as strange and whimsical without coming off as overly exotic. I had some trouble determining the intended level of modernity, or what century in which the book takes place. Sometimes dialogue broke continuity, using a slightly modern phrasing. The machinery present placed me in a transitional pre-industrial era, but the rural life seemed earlier. But perhaps that was the point. There's certainly a thought-out juxtaposition there. This could just be my unfamiliarity with the time period and the culture covered. There's a fantastic use of nature writing in moments of pause and description, which gives the land character and nuance, making the regions stand out. The map is genuinely helpful, both in my reading and as I wrote the review. By the way, that is illustrated by Darian Jones, who had illustrated the map for the Hanover Chronicles. What Rough Beast is a strikingly unique contribution to the Sword and Sorcery lexicon, standing entirely on its own. The authorial voice is powerful. The characters are thought-provoking. The world is tangible and full of life. The plot is bloody exciting. There's a good deal of downtime and reflection. You will not find high-octane adventure with clear answers. The elaborate and elegant prose is both a selling point and friction, sometimes swelling to become a bit obtuse. While I am loath to give numerical ratings to literature of any kind, I can wholeheartedly recommend this book to anyone intrigued after hearing my thoughts. I am looking forward to my next run-in with Goatskin Duzmut. Thanks for sticking to the end. If you want to pick up the book, there are links to it in the description. If you like the video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Hey everyone, Near Future James here. I just wanted to say that one of my favorite things that I've been doing with The Arcanist lately is reviewing books from excellent independent authors, small press authors, and I've been getting exposed to a lot of really great stuff. If you're an avid reader and you like what I'm doing, The Arcanist is building up an advanced reader team. Starting now, our ARC readers are going to be receiving digital copies of basically everything we publish. All we ask for in return is an honest review on Amazon or Goodreads. In this world, you need reviews to stand out, and in order for any book to gain traction, we need like 10 to 15 reviews on every book the moment it's published. So if this sounds interesting to you, you want to get free books, and you want to read excellent fantasy from small authors, go ahead and click the link in the description. I would really appreciate to see you there.